Alright, so now we'll talk about defending against the guillotine choke. The guillotine choke is a really rough technique. You see a lot in the earlier on grappling tournaments. There's some really common themes in terms of defending a guillotine choke properly. Not only defending, preventing altogether, and even using it against your opponent. And usually when I go into it, I go into it this way, in the order that I'm about to go into it when it comes to drills. So first and foremost, I'll have Josh in the open guard. The concept, the same concept we're going to be playing off of the entire time in this intro class curriculum with the guillotine is head and hips on opposite sides. If Josh hits a successful guillotine on me, it means that my head and my hips are on the same side of his body. He throws his leg over the top. He crunches in. He's essentially got his forearm in my throat. He's folding my head down towards my belly button and forcing the submission. That's because I'm off on one side. He's got his weight to fold over me. If I have my head and hips on opposite sides, I get him flat, I stay on top of him, and that doesn't happen. So if I'm here in the open guard, and he reaches over my head, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my bicep over his opposite leg, and I'm going to jump to that opposite side. As my right shoulder drives into him, I'm going to jump to my right, his left. Boom. Stay nice and low and controlled. Swoop underneath the head, and I'll flatten him out. What I need to make sure I do is keep my hips nice and low so that he does not buck and roll me. He has my head. So if I do this, he's going to bump me over towards my head side and rock me over this way, head over heels. I don't want that to happen. I stay nice and low, and my hips are close to the ground. And now I can wear him out. I can drive into his face. I can pry his hands apart. I end up in a side control position, and I win. So I'll work that on both sides. I stay in an open guard. He grabs my head with the other hand. I jump to this side right immediately. I swoop past that leg. Immediate reaction, at which point, again, I flatten him out. I settle myself into a good side control. I get my head free. See my hips nice and low. My knee, that should be, stays right in his hip bone. Now, the next place we'll work is from top and bottom in a turtle position. So Josh is on top of me. Another common setup for the guillotine is from a position like this. Let's say Josh wraps my neck up for a guillotine. I know he's going to choke me now, in this case, with his right arm, which means I need to jump over his left leg. So as he sits his hips under, go ahead, I'm going to extend my right arm out, reaching over his leg, and hop over that leg. Passing by, coming through, ending up on top. So as I see him sitting under, my hand or my bicep is on that leg. I'm here, he's got my neck. As he falls back, I block this one, I pass it, and I settle right on top. Same thing, if he gets to here, grabs my head, boom, steps that leg up, and make sure I'm out. It's not always going to look like a cartwheel. A lot of the time it'll just look like me running. But the idea is that I'm circling, but I'm also driving with that same side shoulder. Circling to my right, driving with my right shoulder. He might have my head, but I have side control. Last position is in the closed guard. So I'll be here in the closed guard. Say, Josh now gets a guillotine, drives me back into the closed guard. What I'll do now is I'll reach my right arm up and over his head. I'm going to come up onto my feet like a tripod, and I'm going to turn his head over and away, just like as if I was in a side control position. At this point, I'm going to walk my hips. I'm going to pry at his hand here, and I'm going to continue to walk my hips towards his head. So I walk and drive, walk and drive, walk and drive, walk and drive, and either the choke is going to give out or his guard is going to give out. Most smart grapplers are going to bail on the choke first, at which point I'm going to end up back in his closed guard where I can focus on breaks. I'm not getting submitted. If his legs give out first, I'll hop past his legs. But that's the idea. The reaction is whether he's got my head, whether we're in closed guard, whether in turtle. I understand that my head is stuck on this side. I've got to jump my hips to the opposite side where I'll have side control right off the bat. So whether we're in closed guard, the turtle, or the open guard, it's the same deal.